Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today's question is, can I analyze the case of St. James and LaDonna Davis? Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I will put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. First, I'll look at the background of this case, move to the timeline of the incident, then offer my analysis. St. James Davis was born on October 24, 1943, and lived in West Covina, California. This is 18 miles east of Los Angeles. He became romantically involved with a woman named LaDonna and was supposed to marry her at a church in West Covina in 1966. The only problem is St. James never showed up. He left LaDonna waiting at the altar. LaDonna wasn't too pleased by this behavior, and other residents of the town were upset as well. St. James decided it would be better to get out of town. He took a job as a deckhand on a merchant ship and traveled around the world. When he returned to California in 1967, he was not alone. He was accompanied by a chimpanzee named Mo. A chimpanzee is an ape and not the same thing as a monkey. They are typically larger and stronger than monkeys. Keeping a chimpanzee as a pet is considered dangerous, especially as they grow older, because they become stronger and more aggressive. Upon his arrival at the airport, LaDonna was waiting. She was still upset about that whole being stood up at the altar situation. Over time, LaDonna forgave St. James and became attached to the chimpanzee, Mo. St. James and LaDonna raised Mo as if he was their child. They treated him like a human being in many ways. For example, he took showers, used the toilet, and wore clothing, mostly blue jeans and plaid button-down shirts. Mo is regarded as gentle, well-behaved, affectionate, and intelligent by many people who interacted with him. On June 6, 1970, St. James and LaDonna married. This time, St. James decided to show up to the wedding, which made things go more smoothly. Mo was there too. He functioned in the dual role of best man and flower thrower. This latter role might seem unconventional. However, considering how chimpanzees often throw feces, throwing flowers doesn't seem so bad. During the wedding reception, Mo became intoxicated and urinated on a guest. Attendees thought this was hysterical. Not long after the wedding, LaDonna had a hysterectomy. She was devastated because she wanted to have children of her own, but St. James reassured her that they already had a child, the chimpanzee, Mo. Eventually, the family lived in a house on Holt Avenue in West Covina. They had 1.5 acres of land. To make a living, the Davises owned a body shop. In addition, St. James raced cars for NASCAR. The couple was content with their chimpanzee-enhanced lifestyle, but not everybody was as thrilled by Mo's presence. The city of West Covina took the Davises to court in 1971. Ultimately, St. James and LaDonna prevailed. The judge said that Mo did not have the traits of a wild animal and was better behaved than some people. Mo achieved celebrity status in West Covina and beyond. He became a Hollywood star. He was featured on BJ and the Bear, Bowling for Dollars, Reading Rainbow, and Sesame Street. The Davises noticed that Mo developed various communication skills. For example, he could shake his head yes and no, and he used physical gestures to communicate specific desires. For instance, tapping his shoulders indicated that he wanted a hug. As Mo grew older, he reached 130 pounds. His upper body strength was 5 times stronger than a man. He was placed in a 12-foot by 10-foot cage at the Davises' residence. In 1977, Mo bit a woman's finger, which resulted in a lawsuit. The case was dismissed. It would be 21 years before another concerning incident occurred. On August 16, 1998, Mo escaped his enclosure in the Davises' house. When the police and animal control officers arrived, they had a difficult time controlling Mo. He resisted furiously, scratching an animal control officer, injuring a police officer's hand, and denting a police cruiser. There was a substantial financial cost associated with the injury to the police officer. The medical bill was $250,000. Just over a year later, there was another disturbing incident. On September 2, 1999, a woman paid a visit to the Davises' house. She approached Moe's cage and stuck her hand into it. In response, Moe bit her. St. James and LaDonna said they told the woman not to approach the cage. As for why Moe bit her, they said that he became confused by her red nail polish and incorrectly believed that she was handing him licorice. The injured woman filed a lawsuit against St. James and LaDonna, and the case eventually settled. The town of West Covina was not amused by Moe's behavior. They took him away from the Davises. Moe was sent to an animal sanctuary called the Wildlife Way Station in Sylmar, California. This is about 44 miles west of West Covina. The 160-acre facility housed about 400 animals, including bears, wolves, leopards, lions, tigers, monkeys, and apes. For the most part, the sanctuary was a place where animals ended up after people made bad decisions, like when pet owners realized that keeping an exotic animal was more difficult, costlier, and more dangerous than they thought. St. James and LaDonna were not happy about Moe being relocated. They were allowed to visit him at the sanctuary, but there were many restrictions. For example, they could not have physical contact with him, and they could only see him for 15 minutes at a time. The couple took the city of West Covina to court in order to regain custody of Moe, but they did not win. In 2002, they filed a civil rights lawsuit against the city, and a settlement was reached. The city agreed to pay them $100,000 plus $225,000 so the couple could move to Baldwin Park, which is 2 miles away. The idea here was that Baldwin Park would allow the couple to have a chimpanzee. West Covina did not immediately honor the settlement, so the couple did not move to Baldwin Park. They continued traveling to the animal sanctuary to visit Moe. The Wildlife Way Station ran into some licensing challenges. Therefore, in 2004, Moe was moved to a sanctuary called the Animal Haven Ranch. This facility was located in Caliente, about 27 miles east of Bakersfield. Even though this was much farther away, 2.5 hours north of West Covina, St. James and LaDonna were excited about the relocation. They could now visit Moe without any restrictions. Now moving to the timeline of the incident. On March 3, 2005, St. James and LaDonna Davis traveled to the Animal Haven Ranch in Caliente, California, where Moe lived, arriving at about 10 a.m. The purpose of this visit was to celebrate Moe's 39th birthday. The couple brought a raspberry-filled sheet cake, chocolate milk, candy hearts, and toys. While preparations were being made to celebrate with cake, a calamity in the form of chimpanzee chaos was creeping closer. A male chimpanzee from the cage next to Moe's broke the lock and walked through 2 doors, which had been left unsecured by mistake. The chimpanzee attacked LaDonna and bit the thumb off her left hand. St. James pushed LaDonna under a table to protect her from the chimpanzee, only to become a victim himself. He was brutally attacked by this chimpanzee and by a second male chimpanzee who had also escaped the cage. The 2 chimpanzees were named Buddy and Ollie. They had worked in Hollywood before becoming too aggressive. A familiar tragic story for many people in show business. It sounds like they pulled a Charlie Sheen. During the attack, a man named Mark Carruthers, who was the son-in-law of the sanctuary owner, retrieved a pistol. He fired on Ollie, but this did not discourage the chimpanzee. Mark then retreated, obtained more effective ammunition, reloaded his weapon, and re-engaged, this time with Buddy. Mark fatally shot Buddy in the head, but the terror had not ended. Ollie continued the attack even though his partner in crime was dead. He dragged badly injured St. James down a walkway. Mark pursued and fatally shot Ollie. The chimpanzees had a Hollywood ending. They went out like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. St. James and LaDonna were transported to a hospital. As I mentioned, LaDonna lost a thumb. St. James sustained many horrific injuries. He lost his right eye, nose, 8 of his fingers, a piece of his skull, as well as parts of his cheek, lips, buttocks, genitals, and feet. Over the next 4 years, he underwent over 60 surgeries. Years later, St. James and his wife filed a lawsuit against the Animal Haven Ranch and were awarded $4 million. As for Mo, he was relocated to a ranch in San Bernardino, California, called Jungle Exotics. In 2007, St. James and LaDonna filed a lawsuit to compel the city of West Covina to honor the settlement from 2002. The couple prevailed, but they never regained custody of Mo. In 2008, Mo escaped from Jungle Exotics and was never seen again. Presumably, he lived out the remainder of his days in the San Bernardino National Forest. Over the years, St. James and LaDonna lost touch with friends, acquaintances, and neighbors. The couple became increasingly isolated. St. James died in July 2018 from cardiopulmonary arrest. He was 75 years old. The police had received reports about unfamiliar people on the LaDonna's property in West Covina. Cars were coming and going all times of the day. Officers paid a visit to LaDonna's house right after St. James died. The house was covered in rabbit feces, and there were wasps flying around indoors. The other people on the property, who were from some type of motorcycle gang, claimed they had permission to be there and permission to sell the vehicles on the property. Apparently, St. James had collected a number of vehicles. When officers asked LaDonna what was going on, she did not seem to know. She could not tell the police what year it was or how old she was. While she was talking to the police, LaDonna passed out. Even though LaDonna was confused and appeared to be in bad shape physically, she told the officers that the people had permission to be there, so there wasn't much the police could do. In May 2019, the police paid another visit to the house and were once again disturbed by what they encountered. This time, LaDonna agreed to be taken to the hospital. Eventually, she was assigned a conservator, so her assets would be protected and her needs would be met. Now moving to my analysis. When people first hear about this story, they might imagine that Mo was the chimpanzee who attacked the couple. Like this is a tale of a married couple who became too attached to a chimpanzee only to be betrayed by the wild animal. They thought he was safe, but he turned out to be some type of monster. In reality, as I mentioned, Mo was not the offender. Rather, two chimpanzees in the cage next to him were the attackers. Mo could only watch in horror from his cage as St. James was mutilated. What do I think happened in this case? This is just a theory, my opinion. After St. James left LaDonna waiting at the altar, he decided that he needed some type of grand gesture to reintroduce himself into the West Covina community. He somehow obtained a chimpanzee and returned to California. There's no way to know if his story about how he found the chimpanzee was true. The couple became very attached to Mo and viewed him as their child. LaDonna's inability to have children of her own only amplified these feelings and the level of attachment. After Mo became aggressive a few times, he was taken away from the Davises. While visiting Mo at a sanctuary, the Davises were attacked by two other chimpanzees. The incident was caused by a cage that the chimpanzees could defeat and doors being left unsecured. Even though Mo was not the attacker, the lesson in this case is that wild animals are dangerous and should not be kept as pets. Mo's aggressive behavior landed him in the sanctuary, and the Davises' attachment to him brought them there to visit. If they had never visited, they would not have been attacked by the other chimpanzees. Clearly, they felt safe around these wild animals. They thought of them as hairy and rambunctious children and were not troubled by their immense physical strength, tendency to lose control, and their affinity for ripping off genitals. As far as the motive for the two offending chimpanzees, there are many theories out there. One theory was that they were envious of Mo because he was getting toys, chocolate milk, candy, cake, and attention. I would be surprised if the motive was that complex. There's a more straightforward explanation. Chimpanzees are wild animals who regularly attack each other to protect territory. They probably viewed St. James and LaDonna as encroaching. All the chimpanzees in this case, including the offenders, are forgotten victims. As far as Mo's fate, he probably died not long after escaping. Some people hoped that Mo had assumed a new identity, moved to Hollywood, and found work as an actor. This seems unlikely. Show business discriminates against actors. His age. Those are my thoughts in the case of St. James and LaDonna Davis. Please put any opinions and thoughts in the comment section. They consistently generate an interesting dialogue. As always, I hope you found my analysis of this topic to be informative. Thanks for watching.